Welcome to another Adobe Live from the sofa here in the UK, and we are here every day from 12 until 1, at least in the weekdays at any rate. If you're watching on YouTube, that is just fine, but if you want to get involved in the discussion and ask questions, then please join us on behance.net/Adobe Live and get involved there. Chat's very lively already. We've got some of the usual regular people in here. The list is getting too long to read out, but just a few shouts from what's on my screen immediately. Hello, Sandrine, Andreas, Kirsty, Boris, Robert. Too many, way too many. But we'll have a look at that a bit later on. So don't forget, do ask your questions. And as usual, I'll put them to our guest, who today is my mate, Gavin Campbell. Hello, mate. All right?
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm relaxed. Yeah, it's another good day at home with the family. So, it's all good fun. Looking forward to it.
Yes, we're really good. And when you've got little ones running around, though, it's always a bit fun, isn't it? Are we going to get a BBC moment? Is anybody going to come in behind you?
That they've just popped out, actually.
Have they? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they've just gone out for a drive. So
yeah. There you are. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what are you going to be showing us today, mate? And we'll also have a look at a bit more about you for people who've never met you. So let's do it in that order, actually.
Yeah.
Show us a bit about who is Gavin Campbell.
Okay, so I'm a freelance illustrator and designer. I've been doing this since, it's been probably 19 years now I've been designing.
Wow, man.
And 2000 I started, I think. 20 years, the 20th year in the game. I'm just going to drag over my website. Although it does need updating, I've got a whole bunch of work to put on here. This is still very typical of my style. I've worked for many corporate clients over the years. Some of the favorites being the NBA, the F1 Lotus team. My style is very kind of photorealism mixed with lighting effects.
Yeah.
I have good fun doing that sort of stuff. Done a lot of work with Sony Music, kind of rejigging presentations and adding effects to it. So that's kind of what I do. However, over the last, say, 2 to 3 years, I've done a lot of CGI work. So I use Blender and Photoshop together to create a lot of 3D assets now. So I enjoy doing that. I used to get a lot of stock assets, but now I try to use 3D assets and create stuff myself. This is my Instagram handle. I'm just going to show you an example of some of the stuff that I've been working on. Although my new work is yet to be released, I'm just going to show you an example of what I do now. So I would typically create something like this. This is a CGI image I've created in Blender. So it's entirely CGI, and then I'll put that in Photoshop at the end just to accentuate the light and clean it up. So that's typically what I do now. I'll just give you an example here. This is the 3D mesh.
Oh, yeah.
My car, and then I add the materials in, and then I typically do all the background stuff in Photoshop. So I would create the main image or asset in Blender and import it in.
Okay.
And
that's
then
cool.
And then take it from
really
there.
Good.
So I love it. I think the 3D space is amazing.
Yeah.
The endless possibilities.
No, that's really cool. Really cool. Do you know what? This is going to make you chuckle, Gavin, because you've said you've been in the business 20 years. One of the comments in here from Sandrine says, "Did you start as a baby?"
It's because I look so young, right?
You do, though, man. You do.
And my oldest son is 19 years old.
It's crazy, isn't it? And that's something you definitely couldn't have started as a baby. So there we are. 19
years old at university.
Wow.
At university, his voice is as deep as mine. He's as tall as me.
There you are.
So
Wow.
so 20 years in the game.
There you are, mate. I just wish I could get hold of the same moisturiser that you've got, because It's really good. See that there you go, people. There's a lesson for you, right? Look after your skin. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to show you two more pieces. This is something I did more recently. Actually, I did this with Adobe, an event in London. I do a lot of 2D kind of photo montage stuff. So this was a project we had about an hour to do this, and I just the theme was parrots, so everyone had to use a parrot asset or stock asset. And so yeah, we had an hour, and we were using the Microsoft Surfaces, which are very good fun. Good to use.
That's one of the first things we worked on together, wasn't it? Where we worked.
Actually, it was. Yeah, I did a job. Yeah, it was in Shoreditch or somewhere. Yeah. Tower Hamlets, and I was doing a demonstration. Yeah, on the Surface. Yeah, very nice piece of kit that is. If I had the money, I'd get one. To be fair, great. But yeah, I do a lot of this sort of stuff as well. I really enjoy it.
Nice.
So yeah, this is what I do, and I have clients big and small, and I like to work at night. And a lot of creatives probably watching this probably agree with me that nighttime we just come alive. You know.
Yeah,
that's what we do, and we sleep during the day, if possible.
If possible,
yeah. If possible. But yeah, that's what I do. So today I was thinking of creating something in line with the times, with the protests and what's happening, and
absolutely.
So I was thinking of doing like a double exposure image that kind of blends in with what's happening right now. So I'm going to just get up the main asset. I get everything from Adobe stock, by the way. Yeah, so I got.
It's getting really good now, I think. Really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you seen the? They've got materials on there from some of the Substance. Have you come across physical-based rendering stuff yet? Have you tried any of that stuff?
I've touched it. it.
So they've got some of the PBR materials, I think, on there and on the Substance Source, Substance Source is free, of course, for main. But yeah.
Very good. This is the first asset that I've got. Okay. So let me just zoom in a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the B&M flag and I'm going to merge it to his face. Now I know that there's a clever way of doing this using displacement maps. However, I'm going to do it the more artistic way. I'm going to use the liquify tool.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did try the displacement map, but there was very little difference. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it the more artistic way. So I've got this flag, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go to my layers panel and just turn it into a smart object, and then just drag this across. I'm going to go ahead and drag this in, zoom out a little bit.
So that's a vector file, right? You've got there, is it? Or is that another raster file?
Actually, it's a raster file, but I've just...
okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to increase the size of it and just bring it down a little bit.
So while you're doing that, mate, what I'm going to do is just give you a couple of things from the chat. So Richard Bell is telling us that he did a backdrop for a Ferrari Spider 30 odd years ago. Wow. That would have been a different ball game then.
100%.
Yeah, no CGI, but yeah. And they messed up the engine accidentally as they'd forgotten they'd put black material in there. Brilliant. The parrot looks amazing. Love the textures and colours. Caroline's asking, did you go to college, Gavin, or are you self-taught?
Interestingly enough, I'm actually self-taught. I didn't do any courses officially in illustration or design. I actually went to Birmingham University, not Birmingham, it was UC at the time, and I did art and design, traditional art. I actually started as a traditional artist. I'll tell you what.
Cool. Let
me just quickly get up some of my art. I'm just going to jump.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just to show people where I come from. Let me just try and get this up on my account. Because I spent my A-levels, my GCSE years doing traditional art, and I loved it. Although back in those days, the idea was, it was kind of, how does an artist really make money? We had that premise, although that's not true. So I didn't really know how to utilize it, what to do with it when I was 17, 18. Let me see. Let me get this up. So I used to use pencil, 7B to 7H. Let me just scroll through these archives, my albums. Okay, right. Cool. So this is typical of the kind of art that I used to do. So this is all pencil, right?
Yeah. Pencil
and rubber. Okay, so if we just flick through. So what I would do is I'd have a photograph next to me, a full color photograph, and I'd literally just try and sketch it. Just freestyle it as a sketch. Because my uncle's a photographer and he gave me a lot of images I had to use. And that's pretty much what I used to do. So I enjoyed art at school. That's what I was good at, art and sport. That's what I did. And what I would usually do is use the rubber to create the highlights in the image.
Yep.
So from 7B all the way down to HB, down to like the other side of the scale. I had good fun doing that. So that's where I'm coming from as an artist. And then
pencil's such a great medium. It can be so expressive, and it's so accessible. You don't need to have megabucks to get working with pencil. It's a great way to. That's a great way to understand value.
Yeah.
Understand. I've never seen those before, mate. They're great.
Yeah. I used to do it. Yeah. I actually started a business doing portraits back in 2000.
Yeah.
My first website. Back when we had Flash, when Flash was acceptable on websites, I did a quick website, and then I run a little business doing portraits. That was good fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and then I transitioned into the digital world when I started a clothing line back in 2001, and we needed a designer to design the t-shirts, and I said I'll do it. So I started.
You were modelling around about then as well, weren't you?
Oh, Tony, why are we going there, eh? Why are we going there?
Well, because you're a beautiful man, mate.
Wow, gosh. Yeah, I did a bit of that, bit of this and a bit of that. I was a social whore back in those days. I did a bit of everything, Tony.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it all makes us what we are, right? We're all a product of our journey. Yeah. And if we stick to the same route all the time, we're not going to make anything that interesting. That's my opinion anyway. But,
I did a bit of modelling before I got married.
I remember talking about it with your wife at Birmingham at the NEC, because you were talking to another Gavin, if you remember, and you stood there and we were talking about that, and she was going, "Can you tell?" And I was going, "Yeah." You've still got a way of standing. It's just great.
I get accused of being a flirt, eh?
Mate, you're just a brilliant chap. Yeah, it's good.
But I mean, I dabbled in all sorts, but I did a lot of this. Then I went into the corporate world and did some stuff for Pronto Print. Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
High Street Print Company. That was my first official job. And then...
Are they still going?
They are. There's still a few branches around,
Yeah.
A few franchises around. So started working for those guys, and then I was doing a lot of magazine layouts. So back in the day, we had a PageMaker and Quark.
Yeah.
So I had to use Quark Express. That was a nightmare to use. That was because the shortcuts were completely different to PageMaker and Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, when InDesign came out, it was a dream because it was all integrated and seamless. But did a lot of that, and then we used Corel Draw as well back in those days. Corel Draw, and then we went.
Never used it.
Never used it.
No.
Before we used Illustrator, actually, I did a lot of vector stuff. I actually used Corel Draw, and then I transitioned to Illustrator and I haven't looked back. But
no, freehand and Illustrator for me. I never touched Corel Draw.
Actually, we did have freehand as well. These guys in the chat might not know about all this stuff, but back in our day, Tony.
That's right. They can Google it.
Yeah. It was Macromedia freehand, and then Adobe bought it, and then they phased it out. But freehand was a good program as well. I went from Corel to freehand to Adobe Illustrator. Yeah.
A friend of mine, his name's actually Dean Harmer, not related to me at all, but he used to do covers for Katrina and the Waves. Do you remember Katrina and the Waves? Like Walking on Sunshine or whatever, wasn't it? Or something like that, or Echo Beach, can't remember now. But yeah, I saw some of his artwork in process at an agency. Remember when you used to have to go to an agency to get stuff run out, and they were swearing about Coral Draw at the time. But I mean, you use what you use, right? You know,
100%.
Yeah,
nifty little program that was.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff I used to do before I got into Photoshop. I see a lot of this vector work. This is probably more your stuff, Tony, the vector side. But I
like me at vectors.
Yeah, I got into the pen tool, and I tried to create everything using the pen tool. So I don't really like to use plugins or anything like that. I just try and do everything. So even the strands of hair, everything is just it's all pen tool. So yeah, I do like to use Illustrator, and with the project that I'm going to do now, I want to flip to Illustrator and do some assets in there in the next half of the project. So the first half will be mainly Photoshop, and then I'll jump into Illustrator. So
we ought to mention that actually, that this is a two-parter. We're going to have Gav Tuesdays this week and next week. Yeah. Gavin will be back with us next Tuesday. So if you have any further questions after today, don't forget you can also mention them and ask them in our Discord, which carries on, of course, all the time. There's no time limit on Discord, but we're straight in there generally, or I am, and Rufus and Emma sometimes in there as well, and Tim into our Discord, and that link making its way into the chat instantly as we talk. Gavin has cut a few comments for you. So Echo Beach was Martha and the Muffins. Thanks, Sandrine. You are encyclopedic on the music. They're loving your pencil work. Really, really lovely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Those skills have got transferred. Question about your interface in Photoshop from Michelle. Do you always work with your toolbars floating on the screen?
No, but I love it. I love it. Yeah. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of an artist, a traditional artist with his paints and his palettes everywhere.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were an artist, you wouldn't have your palettes kind of, in perfect.
No, you're absolutely right.
Spread out all over the place.
Yeah.
Your blues over here, your reds over there, and you just, it's a creative mess, and I love the creative mess. So yeah, it gives me more freedom mentally. Yeah.
No, and you've only got there what you're actually using. You've not got the stuff that that sits around sometimes that you're not using. So
yeah, more or less. Yeah, but I love them floating. It has to float. So if I put them kind of like this, I don't feel right. I feel too restricted. So yeah, let me just put that back where it was.
It actually does look quite airy, doesn't it? It's got some room around it. Maybe I'll start refloating mine,
Are you a tidy guy, Tony?
Look, what, habitually? No. Not at all. If you could see my desk here, that would be evidence of that, but there's no way am I moving the camera.
We hear crazy stories about people just wearing their underpants these days on the live streams. Are you one of those guys, Tony?
I'm staying seated for the rest of this.
I'm not going to comment either, I'm not going to comment either.
No, but I used to have a friend he moved to South Africa to be a trainer, and he used to do all of his video calls, with just ordinary shorts and a shirt and a tie with the tie done up. But that was the only bit of office about him. There you go.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I actually read
we all do it.
I actually read a story this week about a guy who was doing a Zoom conference call, and he had a big mirror behind him, and his wife walked in. She was the other side of the computer, and she actually started flashing him. But obviously she thought that only he could see. But there was a big, massive mirror behind, so the whole of the workplace could see. Yeah. And she was getting in. She was good couple of minutes of flashing, and they all saw it.
I know it's a whole different environment for some people. There was the woman who was on a business call, and her husband walked into the room behind her, just walked across, and then saw on her screen that people could see him. He was naked, but could see him, and in his in his rush to get away quickly, he ran straight into a door frame.
My gosh.
Epic.
So
anyway, mate.
all good fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me just jump back to this quickly. I'm just gonna go ahead and rasterize this smart object. I've got it to the right proportions now. Let's jump to the filter, and I'm gonna go to liquify. I'm gonna liquify this, and let's see how long it takes to load up. Okay.
Be a bit busy on the old processor, can't it? Liquify.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm gonna, at the moment, I'm showing all layers. Let's see. Let's just put it to background. Right, that's better.
Yeah.
So I'm only linking it with the background there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm literally gonna use the liquify tool to bring this down.
Yep.
I'm just gonna make it a bit bigger. Just kind of merge it in.
There you go.
And I've done the tutorials with the displacement map. I've seen it. It's great, fantastic. Although, strangely enough, I just feel more comfortable doing it. I feel like more of an artist, Tony. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I've got more control.
Yeah.
And
and the displacement map is just taking one thing, taking a grayscale image, of course, and offsetting it slightly. It's not, height values.
It works well when the subject is facing directly ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, because you've got different heights. So that's the thing. It's much more tricky in profile.
Yeah, because this is not kind of, it's a little bit awkward in terms of composition. He's looking up towards the sky. I thought it'd be good to kind of liquify it. So I'm just, for those who don't use this, liquify.
That's shaping up lovely already, though.
Yeah, just getting it right in there.
I'll ask you a couple of questions while you're doing that, mate, or give you some of the stuff from the chat.
Go on then.
People who used to put out a 600-page product book in Quark. Wow.
600-page
product book.
And Quark is
that's like an entire tree. It does, yeah. It does, yeah. Wow, drawing all the product in freehand. Kirsty's asking, do you like using Photoshop CC?
That's my third arm. Let's be honest. Yeah, everything I do goes through Photoshop. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I use it every day of the week, and I've been using it for the last 20 years. Every day of the week, it is what it is. So I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and it's.
Tim's saying that this is the new CC21 2021 interface.
Yeah,
all floaty windows. Here you are. And people are saying, Sandrine saying, I'll try floaty from now on. Steve aims for the most real estate. So, yeah, there you are. Yeah. I think the reason I keep mine in that way, is because I teach people so often. I need them to see the same thing that they would, given that I don't know if they've opened the thing before. So
makes sense.
Yeah. But if I was doing more of my own work, I'd probably free it up a little bit like you have.
100%.
Yeah. And of course, you can always save these things as a workspace. That's a very good point, Sandrine. You can organize things exactly how you want them, put them exactly where you want them, and just save a new workspace. That is a very good point.
Yeah. Actually, when I work with Adobe at live events, we always get a different computer, and the workspace is always default. So I actually bring my preset floaty
preset.
My floaty preset.
Bring the text. It's only a text file, right? So yeah.
That's what I do. So yeah, I've just modified that. As you can see, it's
working well.
I've just kind of added something to the cheekbones there and to the nose, and you can see the head, where the forehead is. It's almost looking realistic there. So. But yeah, for the sake of time, I'll leave it like that. I'll press OK, and then let's hope this.
Are you optimistic? Can I ask you, are you optimistic about the future? Because I know that recently, things have been terrible for 400 years. Let's be quite honest and beyond. But at the moment, particularly with everything else in the world, it's been dreadful.
I'm all hopeful.
But do you think it's like this is the chance for us to go through that lens and come out the other side?
Yeah, it's a good question. Me and my wife having this chat last night. I believe the answer is yes. Probably not socially, but in terms of colorism, I think there's I'm optimistic, because usually you'd have protests from just one ethnic minority group, or just the transgender, or just the women, or just the gay people. Yeah. But when you've got a global voice, when you've got blacks and whites marching together for a cause, you've got lower class and middle class marching together, you've got professionals, you've got the FA. I'm a football fan, right? So you've got the FA have said that for the next 12 games, rather than the names of players on the back, they're going to have Black Lives Matter. In Germany, I watched the German football. You've got the refs, the officials, everyone is taking a kneel before the game to make a point. So when you've got the masses kind of speaking out in one voice, then I think the authorities are more likely to tweak and make change. Yeah. So it's a global voice, so I think there's room for change. I don't think socially, but I think in terms of the brutality and the way how they've been allowed to just openly, overtly do what they do, I think that will change. The police force are under threat, and I think when corporations are under threat financially, then they make change. Yeah. See. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll go with that. Yeah. So I think there's hope. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that our kids or our grandkids are going to have a lot more leeway than we have. That's speaking from my background. Like my son will have more leeway, more opportunity, I think. Because if you look back 40 years, I've got more opportunity than what my parents had, what my grandparents had. So things do change. It's just too long. It's taking, you know what I mean? It's too long. Yeah, things have to go wrong to go right, right? Yeah, they do. They do. And I think that more people are reflecting. If you look at the most watched things on Netflix at the moment, the most watched documentaries and anything, are things like 13th, When They See Us Now, and all of that, I think it is making everybody reflect. Yeah. At the moment, and I'm optimistic. I mean, right? The two of my grandchildren have mixed ethnicity. I mean, they're black, mixed ethnicity. And I'm hopeful for them. I'm hopeful for your children, my grandchildren, and all of us, that the world will change. That this will polarize things. That's what I'm really hoping. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I mean, I think. I think in 10 years' time, it will be completely different in that respect. Let's hope so. Yeah. Or sooner would be better. Yeah. So, well, as we're talking, I'm just going to go ahead and select background layer. Yeah, cool. And it's not a perfect selection, but what I'm going to do is just invert it and duplicate. I'm a shortcut man, by the way. So those of you who are watching, I use so many shortcuts, I actually forget where the menus are. It's fine. It's not a tutorial. You're good. Yeah. I'm just for those thinking, how did he just do that? I don't know where the menus are anymore. It's just shortcuts. Yeah, I can. If you need the shortcuts, just pop them in the chat, people. I'll tell you what they are. So the invert selection is Shift Command I or Shift Control I. There you go. The stuff I've got hanging around in my head. Are you using a mouse or a pen? That's a question from Angus. I use my Wacom. Yes. So I actually find it hard to use a mouse these days. Yeah, so when I transitioned, I actually did it because using a mouse for me, actually I got pain in damages your wrist. Yeah, I got pain in my wrist. Yeah. Because of all the pressure I was putting on my wrist. So using a pencil, using a Wacom feels more natural because I'm not putting pressure on my wrist, so I can put this on my lap and the pressure's off. Yeah. So I actually had to massage my wrist for a long time. So I have to have physiotherapy. Serious? I do, yeah, and I have to sleep with braces on my wrist that keep my hands like that. Wow. I was getting some tips actually last time from Caroline, I think,
We were talking about that and saying about some yogic things that can be done. With the cat paw stretches, I think. But,
yeah.
No, you have to look after it, right? If you want to keep working.
100%. So while we're discussing that, I'm just gonna select that layer. I just hold down Control, selected that layer, and then go to the flag layer, and I'm just gonna just delete some of the excess there.
Yep.
Just invert and then delete, so get rid of the excess. So it's just got, it looks a bit more seams with the face. And then what I'm going to do is just create a mask here. B for brush, increase the brush size, and let's just bring it down to about 2. So I've just pressed 2 on the keyboard, and then black hides, white reveals. That's the rule of thumb I have for masks.
Yeah.
So just have black, and I'm just going to paste away what I don't want there on this mask
good
layer
soft edge
here.
on that.
Yeah,
Kirsty's asking if you use Windows or Apple. You use both, don't you, mate?
Yeah. I'm a strange one. I'm a strange guy. I like to mix and blend. So
strange people are the best people.
Yeah, I'm unorthodox. I'm on an iMac. However, as I was saying earlier before we went live, I've got an NVIDIA graphics card, and I actually use an external graphics card with my Mac. And the reason why I did that is because I do CGI rendering. So rather than buy a new computer, I just bought an NVIDIA 6 gig 980 Ti. So it's a really meaty graphics card. At the time, it was okay. It worked with the old OS. I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember.
I remember us talking about that,
Yeah.
A while back, because we were talking about, I just got an NVIDIA 1080.
Oh, you got a
GTX 1080 with the Pascal driver, because I was waiting for the Pascal driver.
That's the one after mine. I've got the 980 Ti. So it's
yeah. I got it working, by the way. I got it on a big old Mac. Yeah. The only thing is, it's a bit disconcerting because the screen goes black on boot and just sits there for a minute or two. Then suddenly you see the login, and you have to keep a second monitor handy.
Yep.
Because when you're doing, so you've got to have 2 video cards in there.
Yep.
Because that way you can do the updates, the system updates, and then update the Pascal driver, and then do it from there.
Is that on an old OS?
It's on, I think the furthest it goes is Sierra. High Sierra.
It's High Sierra. That's where I stopped. And obviously, because Photoshop requires, with the new CC, it requires an update. I was in a dilemma because I was like, if I update Photoshop, I can't use the graphics card, which is why I got Boot Camp. I just got Boot Camp on the Mac, and then I used I'm on Windows 10. So
the thing is, people are noticing these things. They're taking these all and they're going, for some reason, that user interface is Windows, but it's on a Mac.
Yeah.
So that's Steve. Steve joins us from New Zealand, by the way. He comes here from New Zealand every week. Yeah, people are debating if it's Boot Camp or Parallels. There you go.
Yeah.
Or is it a Mac OS skin? It's a lot of effort for.
So it's Windows. For those guys who don't know, it's Windows 10 with a skin, right? Yeah. And I like to keep my interface clean. I hate icons, by the way. For those of you who have messy icons, so ironically, my Photoshop is messy, but my home screen has to be tidy. I cannot have an icon on there. I just can't do it.
No, I don't like messy.
I'm a strange old fruit. I'm not conventional.
Yeah.
So So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to destructively. Although I'll tell you what I normally do. I normally will just group these together, and I'll duplicate the group, hide that, and I'll just create a smart object out of what I've done.
Yeah.
And then I would literally just rasterize that, because I know that's where I want it to be. And then what I'll do is go to the camera raw filter, and I'm gonna.
It's my fave.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the camera raw filter.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's actually the best thing.
It is, since layers, I think.
Yep.
The best thing to come to Photoshop since layers.
Yep.
Everything else, meh. This, brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm gonna increase the contrast, play with the whites and the shadows, the highlights, contrast, and it blends in the image it blends in the image, the flag. Actually, let me go back. Tell you what, let me go back. Let me cancel that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back a step just to show people what you can do. Actually, let me go back. Let's delete that group. Go back to this layer here. It's important to make sure you keep the opacity down, because if the opacity is too high, obviously, so keep it right down. I'd say about 15%.
Yep.
And then go ahead and duplicate your layer, and then create a smart object. Let's go back. Smart object there. Rasterize layer. And in the camera raw filter, his facial hair needs to blend in a bit more with the. So that's where I would add a lot more clarity.
Yep.
And then increase the whites, shadows, highlights, and then contrast. Vibrance, you can add a bit of vibrance. Now I know it's changing the color of the flag in terms of the purple. It should be blues, but I'll change that later on. The important thing here is the clarity. That's what makes it a little bit more.
It's that localized sort of sharpening, isn't it, when you use positive clarity? On all of my photos of me, I use negative clarity because it sorts this map out.
Okay. Yeah, so that's for the sake of time, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah. And what I'm gonna do, let me just zoom out a little bit. I'm actually gonna go ahead and create just increase this. This is a bit. Increase this canvas slightly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and separate this layer again.
Yep.
So let's just invert that, create another layer, hide that, so it's white behind. And what's the next step? Next step would be let's duplicate this layer holding Alt, and I'm gonna do it destructively. I could use adjustment layer to make it black and white. In fact, no, I'll do that. I'll use an adjustment layer just for the sake of peace, because some people will be like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Let's use an adjustment layer, and you got a black and white filter here. Okay, so again, I'm gonna play with the contrast on that. Let's leave it as that. All right. So we've got a black and white filter, and what we can do.
Have you ever tried doing that in Camera Raw, by the way, in the Camera Raw filter?
I haven't, although I should.
Yeah, you should give that a try. Go to the. I'll just give you a quick tip, just in case you. You can go to the HSL tab. So if you go to the Camera Raw filter, if you go to the fourth icon along on the top there, so just there, so here you can perform those HSL adjustments. You can also add, so that will change that. You can change the saturation. But if you wanted to, you could also use a black and white profile at the beginning. So can you see where it's got black and white just at the top there? Just down a bit from where you are now, directly under.
Yeah.
So at the top, just keep going up to the top, bit more, stop, just colour in black and white.
Yeah.
So you could use one of those, and then you can use the HSL tab there to tune that as well. So you could have a second instance of the Camera Raw filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nifty. Yeah. Bit more contrast on that.
Anyway, sorry, mate. I just thought that it might be worth having a look.
That's great. That's actually that's what I'm looking for. So let's. There you go, guys. There's the options you have. So look, I have this at 57% opacity. Let's bring it back up. And so let's zoom in a little bit. As you can see, there's some purple in there. So I'm just going to quickly select that. Get that selection up using the pen tool. Just going to bring that back in. just slightly. Right click, make a selection, and then or you could just, let's bring that back. Oh, let's get rid of this.
Oh, sorry, I went and got you to do it through the thing, didn't I? And it wasn't a smart object. If you'd done it as a smart object, that particular point, you could have used the layer mask for it, but you could do that there equally as well.
Just leave a brush, just blend it out slightly on the edges.
Tim's just calling out the profiles in the camera raw adjustments. They are they're worth looking at. Oh, this is really for the audience, for the community, rather than you, Gavin. But investigate those profiles, because unlike presets that change the settings in the sliders, profiles do something different. They kind of give you a base thing to work from. So yeah, do investigate those. Thanks, Tim. So you're such a good man.
So now what I'm going to do, zoom out again slightly. Got some assets here. Before I do that, let's go to this layer. I'm going to do a bit of double exposure. So, right, so what we can do is, I've got, let's see what we've got here. I've got a couple of smoke layers that I brought in from Adobe stock. So I've got this smoke layer here. Let's bring this on top. That's a smooth layer, it's quite blurry. But I've got two smoke layers, and I've got another one here.
Smoke.
Yeah. In fact, let me just put that on a new layer so I can select the one that I want. So let's take this one here. Just going to cut this one out.
Yeah.
Just going to select that. Okay, so I'm going to use that layer there. And then what I'd like to do is, let's go back. Select this layer here. Create a mask of that there. Okay, just hold that alt there, create a mask. And what I'll do with this smoke layer is invert it. So Control I to invert, making sure that it's got white in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just increase that slightly. And then let's make that layer screen. And then I'm going to play with the positioning of this. Let's zoom out. Just rotate that. Kind of get it where I like it. So let's make that a bit smaller. So around about here. Okay, you just save. See, back in the days, I used to work for a print company, and I didn't have a habit of saving stuff. So I'd do a whole project and not save it. And it would get to a print deadline and I hadn't saved it, and the computer would crash. And I'd get in trouble. So what I always do now, every kind of 8 seconds, is I have to just press Control S or S. I'm just in the habit. It's the fear, it's the trauma in me of missing the deadline and it all going wrong. So I always save stuff.
Did you know, by the way, this is a little known thing, which I'll tell you why I think this is useful knowing this in a minute.
Yeah.
Photoshop actually has 2 save as shortcuts.
Go on then.
Yeah, it has. So on a Mac, it'd be Shift Command S,
right?
Option Command S.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a Windows PC, it would be Shift Control S,
right?
Alt Command S. How many save as shortcuts do you need? Is my question.
Then there's autosave as well.
And there's autosave, yeah. So what I've done with mine on my machines is I've actually taken the one that I don't use, which happens to be Option Command S.
Right.
And instead I've assigned that to create smart object.
Okay.
Because it's so much quicker. because the keyboard's right in front of me. So, well, for me it is. I mean, not for everybody, but for me.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I just don't know why there were two. Maybe there were two different opposing save as groups in the original engineering team. And they just had to agree to disagree. I don't know.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've always wondered, I don't know if you can enlighten me here, why there's never been a shortcut for flattening layers. Just flatten layers.
The Shift Command E to merge all.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Shift Command E. I'll make a note of that one.
Just try it now and then undo it. So just give it a. That should do it though. There you go. Merges all visible layers.
Okay, right. Merges visible. Okay. Good to know.
You could always assign it. You could create your own keyboard.
Yeah, that's what I tend to do.
Yeah,
that's what I tend to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've also got, let me just say that I've got another asset here, and it's this. In fact, let me open on the new layer. I've got this.
Someone called Alfred Nolian saying, "This is amazing, mate. This is amazing, mate."
Thank you, Alfred.
That friend of yours?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Steve, autosave for the win.
100%. So yeah, I'm gonna take this layer and I'm just gonna do a quick selection. Don't use it often, but it worked on this. Yeah. Quick selection of these objects. I'm gonna cut this out and add this to the main composition.
Cool.
Where his neck is.
Yeah. So Tim in the chat has just mentioned the claw shortcut. Do you know that one?
Nope.
It's called the claw because you need all of your fingers to do it, and that's Option Command Shift E, which is merge all visible layers. It's called the claw, and it drops them onto a new layer. It's called the shortcut.
Okay,
it's called the claw shortcut.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll be rewatching these, making notes. Okay, cool. So let's bring this in and let's size this up. Make this a bit bigger.
Oh, I think Richard Bell's drawn you. Richard Bell, one of our community. Hi, Richard. Periodically draws guests.
All right.
Yeah, and he's drawn you. Working away.
Okay.
So Tim will pop a link for that in the chat, and because you don't see the chat just at the moment, mate, I'll make sure you get a link to that later. But thanks, Richard. That's great that you do that. Really great.
Okay. Cool. Actually, let me go back. Let's delete this layer. Back to this layer. Now I've separated it from the background, but I actually need it to be white behind for my effect to work. So let me just drag that back in now, and then rotate that around, increase the size of that. And then let's bring down the opacity. I'm gonna tweak this. I'm gonna position it where I want it. And once you've done that, the next step will be, let's position it actually. Put it round about here.
Julia's saying this looks so good already.
Thank you, Julia. There's more work to do. So,
Julia's a good friend of mine, actually, Gavin. You should see her pencil work is stunning.
Yeah?
Yeah, really stunning.
Traditional artist. That's what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. So, yeah, let's just bring that down. I'm doing this destructively now. Sorry, guys.
Whatever works for you, mate. It's fine. It's not a
just to see where I want it to be. You guys can see where I'm going with this. And just put that there. A bit more contrast on that. Actually, there. Let me see. So. And then let's increase that. So let me see, what's the next step?
That's looking cool already.
So let's make sure this white layer is, let's bring it back down there actually. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the mask layer on the shoulders. So
yeah.
Let's get this up and B for brush. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's go back to this top layer here. Position isn't quite what I want. I'm going to create a mask on that layer. And then just get rid of what I don't want there.
Soften that in there, nice. Yeah. How are you, if you don't mind me, how are you finding it at the moment, working at home and everything? Because
to be fair, to be fair, I'm actually quite used to it because as a freelancer, a lot of my work is at home. So, mine, to be fair, I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm good to go. I tend to work more at night, simply because everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier for me. So actually let me go back. So yeah, get rid of that layer there.
Apparently this is an evocative of the images from the Beatles' complete guitar book.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that one up. Yeah. Well, I've got a vague recollection that might be something with an actual guitar neck in it. Catherine, if you get a chance, if you can expand on that in the chat, that would be lovely.
Okay.
No, you're there. And Richard Bell's sketchbook blog, you can find that at wildyorkshire.blog. So he's been drawing. Yes, apparently I didn't know that you'd drawn Martina Martian from yesterday as well. So cool.
Okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm just painting some of this back in. Let me go B for brush. I'm going to extend this out. In fact, I've got another layer to put in while doing this. I'll jump to my other smoke layer. Got this smoke layer to bring in. Alright, so I've got this smoke layer. Alright, let's bring this to the top. I've deliberately used the lower resolution version because it actually softens it. It softens the sharper layer, so like that. Make that screen. And then let's just rotate that. So it just softens it a little bit. And then let's mask it out. What I don't want. Just create a bit more atmosphere there. Okay. And then
nice.
And then I'm going to B for brush. Let's get this in. Let's extend this slightly. Let's go back. Bring some more of that back in. And then check out what I don't need.
More news on the Beatles book. The book has loads of composite imagery relating to the songs. Right? Okay, cool. Oh, I'll look at that. Look that up.
Okay.
And Richard's saying there's so much of your pencil drawing background coming into this.
You see,
make a real impact on next week's cover of Time. There you go. That would be a great job to get, wouldn't it?
100%.
Oh man,
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. That's a good point, actually. A lot of my traditional ideas, they come out in my art. That's kind of like, I like to use Illustrator and mix media.
Yeah,
and just, I don't like it to feel like it's 100% digital. There's an element of, an element of
oh, Julia's got the Beatles book. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's bring some of that in.
Steve is mentioning a GIF he made. So yesterday there were GIFs being made. Right. And Steve's mentioning a GIF that he made with just like what we would now call a cinemagraph. Right. So there's just one moving thing with some smoke / steam rising on from a cup of coffee. You've actually put, if I remember, I think I saw that on the Discord. Steve's really good. So if you're on our Discord, and Tim's just about to post the link for that, I beat him for once. Yeah, win. He's got an uncanny way of actually predicting that I'm going to say that. But if you do join us on Discord, that's where this conversation gets really interesting, because you can see the community contributing their own work and discussing these things further. So do join us there if you can. Yeah, definitely the makings of a good movie poster here.
Yep.
Gavin, let's hope you get picked up for a job like that. Be awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Brian's going to look into the camera raw filter. Great stuff.
So yeah, let's just delete some of that there. Let's add a levels filter. Just bring this canvas in a little bit. That's what our old friend Simeon's doing now, isn't he? He's doing movie posters.
Is he? Is he doing stuff on Poster Spy?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what he showed me, but his forte now is movie posters.
Yeah,
that's the lane he's going down. So
yeah,
I'd love to do that. That'd be great. It's good old sci-fi stuff. I'm a sci-fi man. I don't know about you, Tony, but I love.
Yeah, definitely.
Not Star Trek, man. Star Wars, man.
Oh no, man!
Nah, let's not mix beans and ice cream now. It has to be Star Wars. Come on now.
I like both.
Viewers, tell me what you think. Star Trek or Star Wars? Come on now. Be honest.
No.
Be honest.
So there we go. Well, we've got quite a heavy, audience of over 21s in here. So
I'm lost. Then I'm lost.
I think you're gonna get both Star Wars, Live Long and Use the Force.
Come on.
Star Wars.
Come on.
Trekkie all the way. Star Wars.
God.
They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Anyway, mate, we've only got a couple of minutes left. So,
okay, right, yeah. So, there's more to do.
Loving this.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly. Well, there's more to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add.
Beam me up, Yoda.
Gradient filter, and because the second half of it will be mixing in it'll be the colors, it will colorizing it and adding in extra elements to just accentuate.
Oh, it's exciting. That's something for everybody to look forward to next Tuesday. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you're on for a couple of these. It's really good to have you here, mate.
All good fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the last bit I'm going to do. I'm just going to.
Yep. And we're okay to overrun by a few minutes anyway, mate. It doesn't really matter if you need it. So
I'm gonna add a screen. Actually, yeah, screen is what I want because it brings in the atmosphere. So if I go back to the gradient filter again, and rather than use white, let's just use a darker. As you can see, it just changes the. Yeah. So. Maybe a blue, a hint of blue in there.
Well, people are looking forward to seeing you next week on the stream, so that's the good thing.
Good stuff.
Julia, if you're looking forward to seeing him next Tuesday, he'll be here.
Good stuff. So as it stands,
Don't forget to save it.
I just did. I just
did. All right, on me.
I actually did 2 saves before you said that. I did it twice just to make sure. I'm
okay, cool.
that traumatized. Yeah. Cool. So yeah. What I will do is I'll leave it there because that's the kind of the first milestone of the image of where I wanted to get to before I add some more lighting effects and vector assets to this composition. So just to let you know, guys, next week I'll do a bit of Illustrator, creating some assets, bringing them in, merging it, add some more lighting effects, and adding some more background stuff to it to
mate, it's
bring it to life some more.
So
this is in line with what we're doing now. This is great. This is fun.
Yeah, and they're looking forward to it. So there you are, everybody. That really is it from Gavin and myself. Thanks ever so much for this hour, Gavin, mate. It's been really, really great. I'm really looking forward to next week. As I've said before, don't forget the conversation continues on Discord. So join us there if you can. For now, though, it's goodbye from us, and hope you've had a really good break here at lunchtime. And we will see you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow because it's the Tony Harmer Show this week on a Wednesday. What's going on? But you'll find out. So tomorrow, Tony Harmer Show, and then you'll see Gavin again next Tuesday. Thanks, Gavin.
Take care, guys.
Take care. See you later.
All right, see you later. Bye.